they had a salmon special, and the salmon special was from New Zealand, and they were hyping it up. So my daughter asked, well, is that wild salmon? And they go, absolutely, it's wild salmon, and it gets FedExed in every single day. Hello, Facebook Live or YouTube, depending upon how you're tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. This video goes both places, Facebook Live and YouTube. My YouTube channel gets about 300,000 views a month, and our reach on Facebook is about 25,000 a week right now. People are loving our informational videos about food, about real food. So right now I'm on Route 4455 overlooking the, you probably can't see because of the sun and back, I'm overlooking the Catskills. Right behind me is Minnewaska, and beautiful state preserve here, Minnewaska, connected to Sam's Point, connected to Mohonk Preserve. And in back is the Catskills. I don't know if you can see those. Those are beautiful mountains back there, beautiful area in upstate New York. If you've been here or if you live here, give it a thumbs up for the Gunks and the Catskills in the Hudson Valley. If you're not from here, don't know it, well, enjoy the scenery. So, New Zealand salmon. My daughter was out at a restaurant last night for dinner, and she's going to Tennessee, Middle Tennessee State, so she's in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and she went out to dinner last night because it's her birthday. She's turning 18. Happy birthday, Courtney. She went out to dinner with Grandma and Grandpa, and we're going down tomorrow. Her birthday's on Monday, so we're going down. So she went to a very nice restaurant, very upscale restaurant, that claims they make everything from scratch, and the prices were a little higher, and she got talking to the staff, and they sounded pretty legit. So they had a salmon special, and the salmon special was from New Zealand, and they were hyping it up. So my daughter asked, well, is that wild salmon? And they go, absolutely, it's wild salmon, and it gets FedExed in every single day. It gets FedExed in, air freighted in every day overnight. So I want to talk about New Zealand salmon. First of all, New Zealand salmon is not wild. Chilean salmon is not wild. Here are the general rules. Salmon only exists in the northern hemisphere. California and north into Alaska and over to the other side of the Pacific is where you get Pacific salmon. It goes through Russia and down the coast there, with the primary catches or the best catches in Alaska, the most sustainable catches, the most monitored catches in Alaska. In the Atlantic Ocean, wild salmon does exist, but there's not enough to go around commercially, except for a very small pocket in Ireland, which only catches 55 metric tons a year, which is not much to even get in the United States, and it's probably 3 to 4 times the price of wild king salmon. It's so rare that 1 or 2 pockets that get fished in Scotland commercially. So the general rule is here, or the rule is, Southern Hemisphere salmon is not wild. It's farmed in Chile and it's farmed in New Zealand. They farm king salmon down there, and they farm Atlantic salmon. Those are the 2 species that they farm. Sorry that the trucks or the traffic's going by and you might not be able to, might be breaking up. So that's a general rule. Now, they were kind of fabricating, they were sort of hyping up the fact that it was FedExed in or flown in or air freighted in every day. Folks, you could not take salmon and put it on a boat from New Zealand or any fish and just ship it over on a boat. You'd have to freeze it, okay? The boat's going to take a long time. So all perishable things are air freighted. Every single airline out there does air freight. So as you're getting on a commercial passenger airline, underneath is a whole nother world besides your luggage of what's going on down there. There's all kinds of containers that get shipped in. I've used airlines a lot. I've used airports a lot to ship food in. When I was in Colorado, at the restaurant out there, I would ship in stuff from Boston. I'd call first thing in the morning, and it would get on a plane in Boston, my seafood, and get air freighted out to Colorado. And it was at the Colorado Springs Airport at 5:30 the same day delivery from Boston, folks. So the the underside, the under part of that airplane is a whole freight world that we never see. There's a separate part of the airport that freight people go to pick these containers up, that companies operate out of. And so, yeah, the salmon is FedEx in. It's no big deal. It's air freighted and no big deal, because that's what they're doing with a ton of these products from all over the world. So they were kind of hyping up something that's kind of just standard procedures for that. So, I wanted to keep this video short. No New Zealand wild salmon, no Chilean wild salmon. It's all farm raised. It's all farm raised in open pen systems in the ocean. Salmon are jam-packed tight together. They're fed antibiotics. They're fed all kinds of stuff in their food. Some of the food may be a better quality, but they still have to stabilize a very, very high fat content of the pellets with harmful, nasty chemicals so it doesn't oxidize, so it keeps the fat fresh. Salmon needs a lot of fat to gain weight, and so it's a very high fat food. But in a lot of cases, the fish are putting into those pellets, they're just harvesting them from anywhere in a part of the world that they can get cheap fish that they can just harvest and basically rape and destroy some of these coasts and fish supplies. When they get pellets for Norwegian salmon from Norway, it's coming from the Baltic Sea, which is a very polluted sea. So the salmon are eating a very polluted source, then they're adding chemicals into the fat to stabilize it, and then you look at the